This is the Talkin Bout the Hoosiers podcast, presented by HoosierIllustrated.com. All right, Kyler. We just recorded a podcast a few days ago. I don't think we were ready to do one, so emergency podcast today. Bryson Tucker, 5-star wing, 2024 class, has committed to play for Mike Woodson in Indiana basketball per his Instagram today. We thought it was going to come in April. Clearly, I don't know if he knows what April is because we heard April and he commits today. This is the Talkin Bout the Hoosiers podcast presented by HoosierIllustrated.com. Kyler, I guess initial thoughts on Bryson Tucker.
Yeah, obviously not even an hour. This has all happened within 24 hours or so. There was reports yesterday, the HoosierIllustrated.com sources had stated that the visit went really, really well with Indiana. He was on campus this week, on-campus official visit. And then the next 24 hours, you kind of got a sense that Indiana was in the lead there with this recruitment. And then the reports come out today that he was going to commit in April. And then about 30 minutes later, after those reports, he just goes ahead and commits and gets it over with. But this is a massive win from Indiana. A lot can be said about this. One, Indiana finally does have a 2024 commitment. With the Liam McNeely decommitment, Indiana was going to go in with 0 high school players on their team, and they get a big one. You also look at Mike Woodson's ability to snag those really late, really good spring commitments. Tamar Bates, Malik Renew, Mackenzie Mbako, and now Bryson Tucker is in that list now. Mike Woodson just does a fantastic job of never giving up, never folding when it comes to just recruiting players and just getting guys to commit this late into kind of the high school season, just kind of in this area. But Bryson Tucker, he's a little under the radar name, and that's kind of weird to say as a 5-star player, but a little under the radar because he doesn't really play a whole lot of travel ball. He's not kind of his style. It was more of, he would go to these camps and he would work on his game, off to the side. The original thought was that he was going to go play for the NBA G League Ignite team, but that team folded, so his college options became a little stronger. Indiana won this recruitment over Michigan State, who really looked like they were going to be the favorite if he was going to go to the college route. Won it over Kansas, and I think Duke and a few other teams that were out there as well. But this is a massive commitment on so many levels. Indiana finally does have a, kind of can see where they are at their roster right now. It takes up a scholarship spot, which they really needed. And it provides some athleticism on the wing. And that's what, Mike Woodson's always tried to really build. He's always been, I want some playmakers on the wings. I want guys that can do a whole lot of things. Versatility was big for him. So major commitment for Mike Woodson. He did a really good job here. Really, really quick, really good job here. So you got to give a lot of credit to him.
Yeah, I think when you look at Bryson Tucker, he may not be the exact mold of what a lot of people wanted. He's not the outside shooter that Liam McNeely is, but he's super athletic, good finisher, and his mid-range game is pretty strong, and it could be something that Indiana really lacked this year, a guy who can just get to the mid-range and get to his spots, and he could be someone that could fill that role next season.
Yeah, absolutely. You nailed it. That's pretty much what his game is. He isn't that guy. So Indiana fans are going to have to be just a little bit more patient on when it comes to getting shooters and everything. But he is that guy. He's going to make plays. He does really, really well on the ball. I really like the change of pace that he plays with. He's really smart in that area. You mentioned his mid-range game. He's money from there. Almost kind of how and they're two completely different players, but kind of similar in this way, almost kind of like Jalen Hood-Schifino, the way that he uses his mid-range jumper and the way that he can attack the basket and go up against the bigger post players. So it is really, really nice. You get a versatile player. And what's nice about this, and the writing's kind of on the wall there, if Mackenzie Mbako comes back, this gives them opportunity to move Mackenzie Mbako to that 4. You got Malik Renew at the 5, and then you got Bryson Tucker, who's probably going to start at the wing for Indiana, which I think is a really, really good thing. Now you just got to fill out that backcourt. You got to see what you're going to bring alongside Trey Galloway. You got to see what, if you can get a point guard, if you can get somebody that can shoot a little bit better. Bryson Tucker checks off a lot of boxes for this Indiana team. Defensively, he's going to be a really good player for them on that end, real versatile player on that end where he can guard the post and the wing. And, when you looked at Mackenzie Mbako this year, he was kind of a little uncomfortable guarding the perimeter. You're going to move Mackenzie Mbako to the more comfortable position that he's going to guard. And Bryson Tucker's a little bit more polished in that way. But yeah, big get for Indiana. You start off the season really, really hot, and you can just build off of this momentum, and we'll just kind of see what Mike Woodson and the Hoosiers can do.
Yeah, you mentioned the potential lineup next year. The five you mentioned, or I guess four, but with another guard, is kind of what you want to see. I mean, I'm looking at the roster next year. There's still a lot of holes. You need shooting, and that's a very big need for as the moment. But if Woodson's able to land maybe a Tony Perkins, and you can have a Tony Perkins, Trey Galloway backcourt with Tucker and Mbako on the wings, and then Malik Renew at the five, because Mbako is like he's a four, but he's not like a normal back to the basket four like Malik
Yep.
Renew kind of is. So it's more you can create that spacing where now you give Bryson Tucker, someone who's good at attacking the rim, give him that like the space to attack the rim. Same with Trey Galloway, while also opening up the post for Malik Renew. And that's something we really didn't see with the two bigs this year. There just wasn't the great spacing consistently in the half court offense. So then you can slotting Mbaka at the four with Tucker at the three can create a lot more spacing, which helps Mbaka or Renew work inside out, and then also helps Mbaka attack as well.
Yeah, absolutely. The offense, the starting lineup for Indiana, you just got to figure out who that guard's going to be, who that starting backcourt's going to be. But the team right now is really balanced. It's starting to look a little bit more balanced on paper. But you just got to see what Mackenzie Mbaka is going to do. We can't go ahead and say that he's for sure going to come back.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
You got to see what he's going to do in this situation. But just a great pickup for Indiana and Mike Woodson. Mike Woodson does it again, proving a lot of doubters wrong. That he can't recruit and things like that. I mean, he's landing these big time guys, and this is a guy that's really going to help them in a lot of areas next year.
Yeah, and I think, but at the same time, is winning these battles. It's great right now. This is a good day for Indiana basketball for sure. But it doesn't matter until we get on the court. That's the Absolutely. Truth of the matter. I mean, you see guys like Tamar Bates was a big win at the time, and he never really panned out as a Hoosier. I mean, he had a lot of success this year at Mizzou, but so it's getting those guys to commit, but also getting the production out of them where you can compete to win Big Ten championships, conference titles, and compete in the NCAA tournament, which is, I guess, where this program wants to be. But landing a Bryson Tucker is a big step in the right direction.
It absolutely is, and we've got a lot of stuff on HoosierIllustrated.com already for it. So I think Alec just literally told me that my scouting report that I did on him is up. So go check that out and everything. You'll kind of get a sense of what Bryson Tucker is going to be. And I encourage Indiana fans to really go check out some highlight films and things because, like I said, a little under the radar player, but this is a really, really big pickup at the end of the day.
Yeah, speaking of highlight videos, I know Alec just posted one on the site. So there is a Bryson Tucker's highlight video is on the HoosierIllustrated.com site. So anything you want to know about Bryson Tucker, HoosierIllustrated.com has you covered. As always, for all things IU athletics, follow Indiana_FRN on Twitter, Facebook, and check out the HoosierIllustrated.com website, and make sure to subscribe on both YouTube and Spotify. Thanks for listening to this edition of Breaking News with the Talkin Bout the Hoosiers podcast.